Alright, this video is for week 2 on Monday, which would be for August the 24th. The topic is the vocabulary of algebra. So we're just going to be going over some vocab words today. Definitions are already written here. It wouldn't be a bad idea if you wanted to keep a notebook to write these down in the notebook, but you don't have to. There's always the video to go back to, but again, if you're stuck on your assignment later on, it might not be helpful to keep going back to the video. So it's up to you, but again, it wouldn't be a bad idea to have a notebook to keep some important things like vocabulary words written in there. But again, that's your call. All right, so today the first word we're going to talk about is variable. A variable is a letter that represents a missing number. Now, you've been dealing with these since probably first grade, except for in first grade we didn't do the letter. In first grade, problems looked like this. And your job was to find the number that goes into the box. There was a box. Sometimes they maybe even have a question mark in that box or something. But the idea, again, is that you're looking for the number that goes in that spot. Now, 3 plus what equals 5? Well, that missing number, the what number, would be a 2, obviously. But in algebra, we don't leave the box there anymore. Instead, what we do is we write in, well, that was what I wanted. We write in 3 plus x equals 5. That x is simply just replacing the missing number. All right? Now that missing number can be absolutely anywhere in the problem. It could be the answer, it could be the start, it could be in the middle. Just that's what the x or the y or the z stands for. Now there are some letters to avoid. We do not want to use these letters. They look too much like other things that we use. For example, a lowercase t. Well, that looks like a plus sign, so we really want to avoid the lowercase t. The letter O looks just like a 0. Probably be a good idea to avoid that one too. S can sometimes look like a 5, so that might be another one that we avoid. And I looks like a 1. So let's try to avoid using some of those letters. But other than that, you can use any letter you want in any problem. You don't always have to use X. All right, next word is a constant. A constant is simply a number all by itself. So anytime we have a math problem like the one that's just written up there above, 3 plus x equals 5, constants are numbers that are just all alone. There's just the 3 here, just the 5 there. That's called a constant. If there are letters attached to things, like 3x plus 2, again, the constant would be the thing that's all alone. Does not have an x attached to it. So the fact that this 3 is attached to the x means it is not a constant. All right. The 2, however, is a constant. Again, it's a number all alone, no letters or anything stuck to it. It just looks like first grade. Next word is coefficient. Coefficient is a number that is being multiplied with a variable. So essentially the one we just looked at a second ago, if there is a number that is attached to a letter, that stands for multiply. Anytime two things touch each other, that means multiply. All right, so one of the new symbols you're going to have to just get used to in algebra is you don't use that x for times anymore. We either use a dot, or we push things against each other, or we use a parenthesis. For example, I could write 4x, or 4 times x like this. I could write it as 4 dot x. I could write it as 4 with a parenthesis around the x. I could put parentheses around the 4 and the x. Or I could just squish them together with nothing in between at all. All of those things mean 4 times this missing number, whatever it is. All right? So again, that's coefficient. And this 3 back here, that's still a constant. All right, next word is terms. Terms are the parts of a math sentence separated by plus signs, minus signs, equal signs, or parentheses. All right. So, for example, in the math sentence I just wrote up above, 4x plus 3. All right. What that means is the terms starts at the beginning of the problem, and it ends when I hit that first plus sign. And now a new term starts, and it ends either when I hit another one of these things, plus signs, minus signs, equal signs, or parentheses, or the end of the question. So you would say that this sentence has 2 terms. It's kind of like words in a sentence, except we don't have spaces in math. Instead of spaces, we have plus signs, minus signs, equal signs, and parentheses. So I could have a big, ugly thing like this. Negative 3x to the fifth minus 10x to the third plus 6y minus 17. And if I asked how many terms were in that sentence, again, I would start at the beginning, and as soon as I got to that next plus or minus sign, that term has ended. Just like a space tells you that a word has ended. Now this minus sign is the start of the next term, and it goes all the way till it hits another plus, minus, parenthesis, or equal sign. And then this plus sign is the start of another term that ends when it hits the next plus sign, minus sign, equal sign, or parenthesis. And then this minus sign is the start of the next one. And you can see that this would be a math sentence that has 4 terms. Right? The terms, again, are broken down into pieces with plus signs, minus signs, equal signs, or parentheses. All right, a couple more. Next one is what's called like terms. These are terms with the exact same variable and exponent. So, for example, we'd be looking at something like 3x and 5x. They have the exact same variable, x, and they have the same exact exponent. They don't have one. Or like 4x to the second power and 12x to the second power. They have the same variable, x, and they have the same exponent, 2. Or 13y to the fifth power and negative 27y to the fifth power. They have the same letter, y. They have the same exponent, 5. So these are like terms. Well, if it's one like 14x and 6x squared, that would be a non-example. That means that would be one that those aren't the right things. They have the same letter, x, but the difference is this has the exponent 2, whereas this has an unwritten exponent of 1. We don't write exponent 1s, but it's there. Those don't match. So those would not be like terms. All right, so that's a non-example, an example of something that's wrong. All right, just last couple words on here now. First, we have an expression. It's a math sentence without an equal sign, so something like 4x plus 3. There's no equal sign there, which means there's no actual answer to this problem. But if I put an equal sign on, that changes it from an expression to an equation. An equation is a math sentence with, well, I said that wrong, with an equal sign, not without. The without's an expression, so I wrote that wrong the first time through, so I'm glad I caught that. So a math sign with an equal sign, or a math sentence with an equal sign, called an equation. All right, today's work is all about these list of 7 words and understanding them. Hopefully it's something you can do pretty easily. Have a great day.